On guys, this is how I made $8,175 today in around 5 minutes. So I only took this on one of my accounts, and I will show you exactly why I actually took this trade in the first place. So the reason I only took it on one of my accounts was because I used this account to full port CPI. And when I full ported CPI, I made around $2,000 because as you can see, the CPI candle was not as big as it usually is. So I only made around $2,000. Again, I just wanted this. I took one of my accounts and I'm like, okay, I'll give CPI a shot. I wasn't too tweaking about it. And it usually does work, and it did work. I just didn't really make that much. So I made $2,000 on this one account with CPI. And then I saw this and I took it on that same account. Because I don't really want to trade my other accounts because they're pretty much locked in for my payout. So this one account, I'm just kind of trying to build up a giant balance to just get max payouts over and over again. So I'm putting more focus on my one top sub account right now until I can get a pretty big balance, and then I'll start trading the other four later on. So I'll go into why I took this trade. So as you can see, it is literally a 5RR, which is not something you typically see from a continuation trader like me. But I like to classify myself as a logical trader now. I don't really yes, I trade a continuation, but I just trade what makes sense to me. I trade what is logically just makes sense, So, but I do obviously trade the continuation. That is my bread and butter. But basically, we had CPI data highs as the main draw. Up open, we get to move lower, take out these whatever low resistance lows, and we have genuinely zero targets to the downside. Right, there's only things all the way down here. They're not that clean. So we have no targets to the downside after sweeping these lows, and I'm pretty much thinking to myself that this move lower is just false. I literally just thought this move lower was manipulation for us to go higher. I wasn't thinking of it as us starting to trend lower. I saw 0 point in this move lower, so I was pretty confident that we were going to flip out of that. So the second I started to see us put in this wick, close bullish, and then start printing pretty fast in the second candle, that is when I had enough confidence that we were not going to go any lower at this point because there is no draw lower. My stop loss being underneath this low is pretty safe because, again, most likely we're going to retrace after this candle, and most likely we're not going to flip out of that retrace, and we're going to keep pushing, which is exactly what happened. So I took it there, safe stop loss, and targeting the data highs. And as you can see, it was a 5RR. I risked around, I think it was 1.5K on this trade. So pretty much what I made from CPI on this trade with a 5RR, which is why I made $8,200 on one single top sub account, which is actually my biggest day ever. Even if I were to be on 5 accounts, with 5 accounts, my biggest day was 7.5K. And today I just made 8.2K on a single account. So it is my biggest day ever. So I guess that's a good thing. But overall, what I'm noticing in my trading is that my discretion is growing tremendously, because instead of restricting myself to a certain pattern every single time I try to trade, I am letting myself trade freely. But I'm not an idiot, right? You can't really do that without experience. I have a decent amount of experience from chart time, a lot of backtesting, and just pretty much almost 2 years of market experience live. You can't really do it without that. But I have enough experience, and I can honestly, you don't even need that much experience. If you could just use logic and you use what you've seen before to trade, then you're pretty much chilling. As long as you have a logical trade with a safe stop loss, and you need to have a safe stop loss, there should be a reason for a price to not need to go to your stop loss every single time you're entering into the market. For me, right, my stop underneath this wick is a rejection wick, right? In my opinion, it's like a turtle soup. I don't care about all that stuff, but this is just a point in the market where we are starting to reject, and I can see that. Right, anyone with eyes can see that this wick right here, it shows that we're starting to reject. And then if you were to just use logic, go to the hourly, you see there's no draws lower. There's no reason for price to push lower. So price does not need to respect the retrace. We are probably just going to keep pushing up. So yeah, I took this trade, and it was obviously a beautiful, beautiful trade, amazing delivery. And that was pretty much it. I don't know if there were any other trades today. Besides that, we did have a really good draw higher. Untapped forward gap right here. That was a really good draw. The thing with data highs is usually, as you can see, when we take them, we tend to reject right after. And that caused us to fall into a bit of a range prior to taking out the forward gap, right? But there probably was some no, that was his job. Um, I know maybe some continuation traders took this, and the reason this lost is because it is genuinely just a pattern trade. Really, not much to it. Like we get a retrace and a flip, and you take that, it is a bad trade because we immediately rejected data highs. We didn't even close above it, so that's a bad sign. Don't want to be longing there. You want to wait for us to push past the high to show we're actually bullish to this high. So this is not a good trade. Again, we're literally just sitting in the range still. Like this is a range, right? Obviously, like you can't like not take this because we're in a range, right? Because data highs and data lows are the strongest draws of liquidity, but they're never going to be in expansion types of draw. Like I'm sorry, but this is the most clean setup I've seen in a very, very long time. So if you faded this, I mean, I took it before, but this is even better trade. I mean, mine was higher RR, but like this is a 95% win rate trade. This really doesn't lose. So if you didn't take this, shame on you. I'm just kidding. But like, you should definitely journal this because this is an A+ trade. For sure, if you didn't take it on that close, you could have waited for even more confirmation off this close. I mean, bro, it doesn't matter, but this trade is genuinely the definition of A+. So, and if you didn't take this because you think this is a range, you are simply literally just a robot because you can't see the market for what's actually happening. Don't just be like, oh, I see up, down, range, can't trade. Look at it and see what's actually happening. The reason we're in a range is because we have data highs and data lows. On days that we have data highs and data lows, we're not going to be expanding because the main draws are the data highs and data lows, which do not need expansion to get there. So they're still A+ draws. Just stop being an idiot and trade and look at the market for what it's actually doing. So yeah, that is pretty much it. That was pretty much the day. Let me close out of this, obviously the proof, and then yeah, that is pretty much it. I appreciate you guys for watching. It is nice to get my biggest day. It is obviously a good feeling, especially because I did it on one account. So yeah, with this one account, I'm just gonna be going for 5K payouts on repeat. And then the other 4 accounts are in a different like payout cycle, I guess. But overall though, I'm doing pretty well. So that's gonna be the end of the video, guys. I appreciate you for watching. If you want to work with me one-on-one, the link is in the description. And if you want to join my free community, the link is in the description as well for that. And my students are genuinely killing it. One of my students just got his first payout, 1.5K. I mean, yeah, it's just a great feeling to see your students winning. So other than that, I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.